Another incident of forced mobilization in Odesa, in the Cheryomushki district, highlights the escalating public conflict over conscription into Ukraine's armed forces. Territorial recruitment center officers attempted to forcibly detain a man on a residential street. When bystanders and local residents intervened to free him, the situation quickly spiraled out of control. According to eyewitness accounts and videos circulating on social media, the officers used batons, tear gas canisters, and even fired shots into the air or at people, depending on differing reports. This all unfolded in a densely populated neighborhood, with women, children, and elderly residents nearby. Several civilians suffered from gas exposure and beatings, and the man was eventually taken away. The key aspect here is not just the apparent abuse of power by the officers, but the public's response. Ordinary people, risking their own safety, collectively tried to protect a fellow citizen. This is no longer an isolated outburst, but a growing trend. Over the past year, open sources have documented around 200 cases of active resistance to recruitment actions across Ukraine. In situations where civilians intervened together, they often succeeded in preventing detentions or at least recording violations on video. Where there was no resistance, the pattern repeats alarmingly. Violent seizures, mistreatment in vans or at centers, serious injuries, and sometimes deaths en route or shortly after. In public perception, falling into the hands of recruiters has become a high-risk zone. Even in major city centers, people now estimate the chances of emerging unharmed as roughly 50-50. This fear is fueled by countless stories: beatings, humiliation, severe injuries, or sudden heart attacks in the first hours of detention. Videos and testimonies spread instantly, eroding trust in state institutions and the mobilization system in particular. In Odesa, a city known for its independent spirit, such incidents resonate deeply. Cheryomushki is a typical residential area where neighbors know each other. When mobilization arrives as a forceful raid, it feels like an intrusion into personal space. Residents' reactions are not mere impulse, but a conscious defense of their community. Experts and human rights advocates point out that current recruitment methods violate not only human rights but also Ukraine's own mobilization laws. Instead of proper summons and medical checks, street roundups dominate, often without documentation and with excessive force. This leads to societal demoralization and reduced voluntary support for the military. The situation is worsened by the broader context: war fatigue, economic hardship, and the energy crisis. When the state demands sacrifices from citizens while using force against them, trust collapses. Resistance to mobilization is no longer local, it is becoming part of wider social discontent. Authorities typically respond with individual investigations and dismissals of perpetrators, but systemic changes remain absent. As long as harsh methods persist, resistance will grow. The Cheryomushki incident in Odesa is just one of many, but it vividly shows how far the mobilization crisis in Ukraine has gone. The world is not obsessed with Ukraine. Budanov's statement on U.S. priorities. On December 27, 2025, Kyrylo Budanov, head of Ukraine's main intelligence directorate, gave an interview to the public broadcaster Suspilne. His remarks marked a notable shift in tone. Budanov openly acknowledged that, for the United States, the primary geopolitical rival is China, not Russia. He said Washington views deepening cooperation between Moscow and Beijing as a serious threat. For the U.S., the main adversary, and this is official now, is China. They see the growing Russia-China partnership as a major danger, so they need to try to pull Russia away from China. And to do that, you have to offer something in return. That's normal, Budanov stated. He emphasized that such deals are standard in global politics. Nations always engage and propose compromises, even with adversaries. The comments came amid discussions of the new USS National Security Strategy under the Trump administration, which mentions potential restoration of diplomatic and trade ties with Russia. Budanov's words sparked intense debate in Ukrainian society. Many are asking, whatever happened to slogans like, "The whole world is with us," and "the West will support us for as long as it takes"? Not long ago, Kyiv's official line stressed unconditional Western solidarity against Russia. Now, the intelligence chief is essentially confirming that, for America, Ukraine is just one piece in a much larger game against China. Critics point out that this messaging emerged after Budanov's recent contacts with U.S. officials. His rhetoric has become more American-style realistic, acknowledging the need for negotiations, emphasizing compromises, and even aligning with Trump's view on global security priorities. This contrasts sharply with his earlier hardline statements about victory at any cost. Many analysts recall predictions from 2 or 3 years ago. Back in 2022 and 23, experts warned that Western support for Ukraine would not be endless, especially if bigger threats like China took center stage. Those voices were drowned out by the narrative of a united front. Today, Budanov himself is voicing realities that were once ignored. Questions remain. Was betting on unlimited Western backing a mistake? Was it worth risking the country to pursue certain circles' ambitions to topple Russia's leadership? As a key figure in Ukrainian intelligence, Budanov is now articulating truths that were previously sidelined. In the context of the Trump administration's America First approach and potential détente with Russia to counter China, such statements may signal preparations for new talks. Ukraine finds itself in a difficult spot, caught between the need for compromises and the challenge of maintaining face at home. The winter of 2025 to 2026 is proving pivotal, not just on the battlefield, but in diplomacy. The world is moving on, and Ukraine must adapt to a new reality where China is the West's main challenge and Russia a potential partner in that contest. If you enjoyed this review and want to be the first to know about the main events in the Russo-Ukrainian war, subscribe to the channel, give a like, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss new videos. Your support helps us continue our work. Thank you for being with us.